Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decade Andy, and I'm joined this week by the uncharged mobile phone. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. Hello, Mikey.
Has it ever been charged?
Yeah. I need to charge it every now and again when I need to do the dual authentication processes on a few websites.
I feel I don't believe any of that because you basically view your mobile phone like other people view the lights in their house, and that they know they're there, but unless you really need them, you just ignore it.
No, well, that's what I kind of said, because unfortunately for some websites, you do need to have two-process authentication, and to do that, you need a mobile phone. Thus, I have a mobile phone, which I never use, which is a burner phone. It's not a smartphone or anything like that.
Is it a Nokia?
Fuck, I don't know. Let's have a look at you.
If it's a Nokia, it will outlive every phone on the planet.
Oh, no, it's a ALCATEL.
An ALCTEL.
ALCATEL. I don't know. Alcatel.
Don't know that one, but...
It's cheap. It's cheap, but that's all I needed. That's all I need it for. Authenticating my stuff. That's it. How's it going, though, Mikey? You doing well today?
I'm okay. How are you?
The same as usual, Mr. Mikey. Unfortunately, though, we don't have a lot of news this week. Even less than usual, believe it or not.
It is a quiet-ass week.
Yeah, I don't know why it's as quiet as it is. I guess we've got burnout from TFCon, so we don't really have any third-party news.
Well, I suppose there's neither of the two shows have started up yet.
Well, what about that movie, Mikey?
Oh, well, there is that. The movie toys have started coming out. Or started leaking, I suppose.
No, I mean the movie. That's coming out this year, right? The toys are. Lol. I'll never let that go. It's so stupid.
No.
I'm sure we'll be seeing them in clearance bins when the movie actually does come out, unfortunately.
It's gonna be very strange. No, they're all being released as Cyberverse so far. Or advertised as Cyberverse.
Like it. Yeah, we'll get onto that.
Highly amusing to me.
It's odd. When is the new cartoon for Nickelodeon starting in November or September kind of time? I can't remember.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It must be, because it's not. I don't think it's starting summer. I'd be surprised. So since we've seen a very brief trailer, it must be coming out this year.
Yeah, no,
because it's a TV show.
Unless they delay it, in which case it'll be out next year, like all the other stuff.
Maybe. I think it'd probably be September, because that's usually when they poop out shows. Generally, at least the kids shows.
It would make logical sense, but
yeah, whether they do it or not, that's a different thing. We may as well start the news cycle. We've got 4 bits of news for you, so strap in, boys. We've got a lot of Kamen Rider to talk about this week, or at least 2 things to talk about.
Say yeah is all I'm saying.
Say yeah. So we're kicking off with the Renegade Studios Transformers deck building. We have an expansion for it called A Rising Darkness. Transformers deck building game A Rising Darkness. Pre-order now for Q2 release. For a limited time, pre-orders will receive the Transformers deck building A Rising Darkness bonus pack for free. That's all capitals.
Cool.
So we've got a bonus pack includes the promo playable character Astro Train and 4 promo main deck cards, whatever that means. I'm sure people of the game know what that means. And there's another bonus pack will be added to your cart for free when pre-ordering this thing. So if you enjoyed the first one, this is good. Play as Decepticons. It's a standalone expansion combined with the core set for team versus team games. Explore a matrix of cards to discover allies and enemies.
No, that's not what that word means in that context.
Did you see what they did? Oh, it's smart.
I did, and they should be ashamed.
Never. The content, we've got 174 standard size cards, including Autobot and Decepticon cards, 6 oversized character cards, 10 encounter cards, and 5 reference cards. At a glance, the number of players are 1 to 5. I laugh because at a glance, does that mean these aren't set in stone? I know what it means, but it sounds weird to say at a glance. It's 1 to 5, maybe? I don't know. It could be 20. It could be 40. from ages 14 plus, because children under 14 are too stupid to play card games. Pokemon Kids Collectors.
Not unlikely. Or not untrue, rather.
The playtime for a game, 45 to 90 minutes, unless you're underage, and then there'll probably be 3 hours, I guess. That's what they're suggesting. Game type, deck building, game expansion set, standalone expansion. So there you go. That's the stuff. 170 cards, 174 cards. We don't. We do have a price. You can pre-order it for $45, which is 174 cards. And then the other cards I mentioned. That doesn't seem too bad, right?
Yeah. Like I was curious about this because for a while ago I didn't even realize this came out.
No, me neither.
Because I remember it being.
Do you know the word on it?
No, I was looking it up recently. Like, so general reviews are kind of average, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
What was it? Roll for Crit is a pretty about 20,000 subs kind of like tabletop exclusive guy, and like they like the co-op mode. They like some of the cards. They don't like a lot of the mechanics. They're too situational.
Oh, okay, that's a shame.
And like rules are too complicated and not a good rule book. And general reviews like halfway decent, feels kind of incomplete. And rule book is absolutely garbage.
You are not really selling me on it, if I'm honest, Mr. Mikey.
I have looked into the solo deck games recently. Chris named a few to me because he's an obsessive lunatic. I don't know if I'll pick any up, but it is something I'd at least like to try. Like, it's one of those things, like, if someone I knew had it, I would definitely sit down and have a go.
Okay.
But, yeah, like, I'm perhaps not shocked that this, limited appeal...
Keeping it real.
Product is perhaps not as well developed as other options.
Perhaps. Yeah. So you're not sold.
Not really. Not like
that's fair.
Doing the odd backflip or anything like that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair play. I don't really have anything to add. Unfortunately, it's just I smile and nod and go, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mikey, take us on to another bit of news, not card related.
Yeah, Transformers, Bumblebee, Movie, Soundwave, and Ravage, and RC. Not all in one kit. Smart kits. They're called Smart Kits now.
I'm not allowed them then.
By Trumpeteer Promotionals. So Trumpeteer previously did model kits for Bumblebee and Blitzwing from the Bumblebee movie. Now these are pretty simple, snap-together kits that don't require any extra work because apart from like the kind of like detailing you might want to do at an adult collector model kit level, these come pre-painted and stuff like that. Which basically means to me like half the fun's gone, but I'm still going to pick something up at some point. But they have announced that they are doing 2 more kits. So these are not going to be Shatter and Dropkick.
Boo.
Despite the fact that they were advertised way before these 2. We still haven't seen any word of them. But we are getting a movie Soundwave with Ravage and a movie RC. RC posed in a weird way where it looks like her entire body has been twisted off. Don't do that. If these are like out of the box kind of samples, and again these are pre-painted, so they probably are at least close. All that like extra like paintwear detailing is definitely not in the kit.
No.
These look solid. Like I said, one thing I'm not crazy about with Trumpeteer is that I think they took the painting to like pre-painted can be a good thing or a bad thing. I prefer color matching parts rather than paint.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially if they're painted on the sprue, and like if the head's painted on the sprue and you're trying to clip it off, or you've got to like sand down a nub or something like that.
I think you can do it a good way, which is how Super Minipla have done it. Usually they have like say for Fire Dag one, right? You know how the head has it's generally red, but it's got the white bits for the ears, little flare bits. On the model kit, those are painted. But the way that they did the head was they didn't even have the head like on a sprue. It was just off a sprue in a little baggie. So that's how you could do it that way. You already, if you're going to paint parts, you can have them already pre-snipped off. I remember for the Super Mini Plot Gao, I'm pretty sure that Stealth Gao had the red painted on its wings.
Yeah.
So all you had to do, obviously, was just snip off the bits on the side, and it didn't touch the paint at all. So there is a good way to do the paint. I suppose it just depends how the paint is applied.
Yeah.
To the part.
It's just the only review I've seen of these kits was by Ben's Collectibles, and he made me very nervous because he was taking stuff off the sprue with his fingernails.
No, did he just twist it off?
Yeah, or just push down a lot of the time. No, I've done that when I can look at the sprue and say okay, how that attaches on, that's a very weak attachment. Okay, if I go at that with clippers, I'm probably just gonna do some damage to the plastic. So just really thin little element. Okay, bim. Or get a little knife and shear it off that way. Don't use your hands.
No,
you'll either leave a message with nub mark usually, or tear something.
It's sad.
Yeah, you fool. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested in these certainly, but again, please, for the love of God, do Shatter and Dropkick. It's probably the only way to get an affordable ones that look like the show.
Maybe,
but yeah. Anyway, any thoughts on Trumpeteer kits, Andy?
Not really. I'm interested here when you tell me basically how they're received when they come out, and if people love them, if people hate them, if they're good quality, if they're poop quality, that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing I'm interested in the most.
The mostest.
Yes.
So take us on to the most exciting news of all: EAN numbers.
Yes. Well, it's less the EN numbers and more what the EN numbers have revealed.
Numbers. I want the numbers and nothing else.
I can give you the numbers. We had earlier on some rumors of two figures coming out who were going to be part of the Legacy line, and it seems like thanks to the Walmart computer system, I guess these have been confirmed. We have the names of Transformers Generation Legacy Velocitron Deluxe Road Rocket. Velocitron, it is Velocitron. Velocitron Burnout, Deluxe, Clampdown, Deluxe Cosmos, and Deluxe Blur.
Hang on, Velocitronian Cosmos.
Yep, that's what it says.
Seems a bit of a stretch.
Well, he's fast.
I mean, technically.
Yeah, it flies through space, so that's,
Don't know if he'd allowed race if he's moving like that speed.
I think it'll probably just be more of a sub-name for the line, right? More so than anything else.
Oh yeah, no.
Surely.
It's gonna be
which
the Golden
seems
Disc
weird.
collection.
I'm not quite sure why we're going into sub-names when the line seemingly hasn't been in... has only just came out in some American stores.
Yeah. Do you want to know something interesting?
No, I don't like interesting things.
No. We have a lack of characters called Burnout.
Do we?
So there's no G1 Transformer called Burnout.
That doesn't mean a character couldn't be repurposed to use the name Burnout.
No, but I think I just figured out who it is.
Who?
There is a repaint of Skids from Timelines called Burnout.
Into what colours?
Who is based on Diaclone colours.
Oh! It's just Diaclone Skids!
So black Skids.
Fuck's sake.
And if I remember, Clamp Down someone similar. Blur, I don't know. It'll be Armada Blur, who's made to look like G1 Blur. There we go.
Oh, that'd be depressing as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Clampdown is a side swipe. He's a white side swipe. So.
Oh my god, the repaints. Well, at least Road Rocket could be new. He'd be a motorbike like the old one.
Unless they do... Oh, no, he'll be a retool of RC.
Oh no, you're right. Oh no,
because look at the on the promo picture.
Yeah, no,
the wheels at that angle. Yeah. Then again, it could be a better use of the mold than RC because
that RC was not the best representation of Prime RC.
No, that is one way to put it. We had many around, and I do like the idea. I will say this: I do like the idea of a deluxe class Cosmos.
Sure,
I think that could have some potential. But we won't comment until we see it. But
I mean, what Voyager leader Cosmos,
Commander Cosmos, and it's just a giant, large fat man.
Yeah, it's a giant, large, fat man, which you remove to have just like a core class sized one. So it looks like you're getting this massive Cosmos, but it's actually just a trailer, and you just get like a normal sized Cosmos.
The thing is, I can make that work.
I don't want it to. Okay,
go
on then.
Okay, so you have this giant Cosmos, and you have this tiny little Cosmos in the center, and all this empty space around it. Right?
Okay.
It's his sense of self-worth.
That doesn't make it work, but that just makes it very sad.
Yeah, but like if I told you
Truthful
could
to the
literally
character.
buy a toy that represents depression, you'd be tempted. You don't want to admit it, but
I wouldn't be, because
would.
I'm cheap. Remember, I am cheap.
You are
would
cheap,
laugh
but
at the idea though.
you'd be like, oh no. It's like I remember when Spastic came out. Like you weren't gonna buy one, but you were kind of like, I kind of would if I was willing to spend the money. Like I remember that. You did. I remember you did a special thing on TFW for that because all the Americans were like, "What's the fuss?"
Yeah, but was I on TFW for that?
You were, yeah. Gog
Damn.
interviewed you.
Oh my god! Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, a long time ago. Yeah.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago. So yeah, some characters coming out. Sounds like, from the sounds of things, that Mikey's ruined anybody's dreams, and there will be a bunch of repaints.
And Cosmos. Although Cosmos could
Cosmos.
still, who could he be a re? Oh, they could redo him out of Bulkhead.
What?
Yeah, Velocitronian Cosmos, like big bulky center body, retool the head. There you go, Cosmos.
Somehow make him. Would you keep him as a truck, or would you somehow?
Yeah.
Try
No,
and
he's a truck. It's just truck in Cosmos colors.
Oh, I don't like the idea of that. That's really sad as well. No, Cosmos is no. I think because we're so heavy into G1, I think they'd want to have him as a UFO. And if you wanted to repaint, I'm sure there was a Diaclone repaint of him, right? or an E-Hobby redo of him. I'm sure there was. There was blue Cosmos. There was G2 Cosmos. It was blue.
GoBot Cosmos.
Okay.
The GoBot. What's a GoBot with a spaceship? Spacey.
Oh, I actually thought these were included here, but they weren't. We also have numbers, even more numbers, for Transformers Legacy Override, Road Hauler, and more. Let's see what it means by "and more."
Override's the character from Cybertron Galaxy Force, yeah? Yeah. Nitro Convoy.
Yeah. But yeah, Road Hauler seems to be the green version of Inferno, so woo! Or Grapple, one of the two. I mean,
it's that
same thing.
Constructicon dude.
Yeah, it's the green version.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, fair enough. And they've also got
who do they do him
Generation Legacy Beast AST, which I guess is assortment. And the assortment is a case which recently revealed Kingdom, Redecos of Sandstorm, Buzzsaw, and Night Prowler, apparently. So when it said "and more," I didn't really mean that.
So Kingdom is getting repainted for the movie line.
Yeah, like RC did 3 times.
Oh, good. Except I will say, she didn't get repainted. They just kept releasing her.
I think that might be what it actually means, though. I think that's what... I might be wrong, but that's what I think it's trying to get across there.
That sucks donkey balls.
It does. But there you go. That's another wave coming out. I may as well cover this last one, because they'll be asking Mikey what he's done this week. So the last bit of news we got is the first possible look at Rise of the Beast, Optimus Prime, and Primal, and Tigatron, in brackets. So these are small figures. They're smaller figures, so like more simplistic figures. It doesn't really say what they're from.
They're from an unspecified line because they're not. Oh. They don't fit into the class thing. So they're going to be.
You mean buzzworthy?
It's kind of like
again.
There was going to be, by the sounds of it, it's going to be like there was going to be a movie specific like gimmick line or something like that, and these guys were going to be part of it. And that line hasn't. It's now probably going to get subsumed into either Cyberverse or the new show or whatever. So,
weird. What do you think of the look of what Primal's going to be though?
Like as a core, the gorilla mode's hilarious, but as a
don't laugh at Monkey.
He's not. He looks more like he looks like he should be in Planet of the Apes. Also, like he goes on all fours, which he's clearly intended not to do, and he's just like staring at the ground in shame.
Same.
The robot mode, once you take out the toy elements, like, the whole head backpack, it is kind of a pretty decent G1-y, movie-y take on Primal.
I think the issue is, at least from my
Colors
perspective,
are a problem.
it's just grey, and it's like, man, do you remember what we've been saying for years? Like, color is really important for these characters to stand out.
Yeah, like he doesn't need to be black. I'm hoping in the actual thing he's black. I'm not necessarily buying into it yet, but they've got a year or so before the movie comes out, so
I think he needed some white and red in there, just like Primal
Yeah.
has as well, though.
yeah, no, he definitely needs it. He needs something to pop.
Definitely on the face at the very least, because the face is literally just grey.
Also, I hate
with
the blue eyes. I hate the blue eyes.
Why don't you like the blue eyes?
Because he's supposed to have red eyes. And
Nah,
this is me not de-wanting thing. I think the red eyes will look better if he had more traditional colors. They
Yeah,
pop
but then he
more.
wouldn't be Optimus Prime or Prime-like if he didn't have blue eyes, because Prime has blue eyes.
No, but
Actually,
he's
why does the
Primal.
monkey mode? Why does the monkey mode have green eyes?
Maybe he's soulful. I feel sorry for Tigertron, and I hope that's in the film. But I
Well,
hope
where
it's in the
he's-
film like this,
Where he's just aggressively turned into a bow.
where a tiger is ripped in half, and like not even like a bow. It's just like this has a vague bow-like look. This looks vaguely like a bow gun, and a tiger's head just sort of flops in the back.
Do you remember that Kingdom image I sent you earlier on in the
Yeah.
week, which was Tigertron, like that Tigertron into a weird bow? I'm guessing now that there was a parody of this,
Yeah, I'm guessing.
which makes a lot more sense, because I would, like, when I sent it to you, you were like, what the fuck is this? I was like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. And now I'm seeing this and seeing this poor Tigertron into a monster bow.
Mm.
I guess it is a rip on it, which I'm quite happy about now. I think whoever did that did a good meme. Without even knowing it, without me knowing it at least.
Mm.
Yeah, but these toys are I guess the first movie movie Rise of the Beast toys coming out.
Mm.
The look like they're on the cheaper end of things, obviously, so woo!
Yay!
I guess, yeah, that's it, folks.
I look
That's all
forward
the Transformer
for
news.
Studio Series things.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's it. That's all the news, believe it or not. It's, like I said, shockingly light. So, as usual, I looked at Mikey and I say, Mikey, what have you been up to this week? What have you done for fun?
Shockingly light. It's been a very, very, very work-heavy week.
Oh, no, again?
Yeah, there's going to be a few of those, I suspect, for the next few weeks.
Oh, no.
But, also I realized that, complete random aside, I just realized Road Rocket could also be done out of the Legacy Iguanas core figure, because he's also got, bike shoulders.
That's true. Yeah.
So this week, anime-wise, Digimon still isn't airing, but 86 wrapped up season 2, with its random second episode about 4 months after the last one aired.
4 months?
Or 2, no, 3 months.
Let's see, even then, 3 months is
I
a
looked
hell
it
of
up.
a gap.
I looked it up. There was like a massive production problem behind the scenes. I couldn't find exactly what it was, but basically they were having huge problems, and these 2 episodes just got so delayed that they actually, because I didn't watch this, they stuck a flashback episode in, an episode 10.5 to hold people over briefly, but it went on way longer. Just a huge production problem.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's wrapping up the current storyline. Clearly a lot more of the series to go, but it's mostly just sort of like following the characters now, and sort of like after their big fight and what they're going to do next. A summation thing, a few reunions, everything else. Like I like 86 quite a bit. It's an interesting show, and it's moved away from the actual 86 portion of the story, because now it's going into the wider world. Like season 2 was mostly about how the 86s were viewed by people who were from a different community. Who felt more sorry for them, and like it was more like, oh, these poor little child soldiers, which I thought was an interesting take. But yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes. I hope it does come back for season 3, and I hope they have better production problems. Digimon's currently having a few production issues from what I saw, and it's been delayed a few weeks.
What kind do we have going on there, do you know?
Don't know. I just saw like episodes delayed until late March.
Wow, okay. Oh boy.
So there's that, and what was I going to say? So yeah, so there was that, and yeah, Ranking of Kings, Osama Ranking, episode 23? 22, 23?
Hang on.
No,
It was
22.
22. It was
22, because I was thinking like there's probably at least 2 more episodes left in it.
Damn, what a shame.
Yeah, this was a kind of a big summary episode.
And yeah, it's not what I thought. I thought we'd get the full backstory on the demon. We did not.
I mean,
It
in a
was
way
not
we
about
did.
that.
In
No,
a
we
way
got
we did.
snippets. We
But,
got
like,
snippets.
Because if it depends, is it more complicated than simply she promised when she was a child she wasn't going to ask it anything, and years later came back?
Is it more
asked
complex?
her something.
Probably. Because everything else has been more complex than initially seen. So yes, I would say it probably is.
Yeah, but even then, we got a really interesting idea. Like, the idea, like, this creature that starts off innocent but is basically all-powerful, and the more questions you ask, the more favors you ask it, it's not necessarily that you pay, it's that it pays.
I mean, you pay as well, but it seems like it strips away. It seems like it's the life cycle of the demon. Like, that's how it becomes worse and worse as an entity, which is interesting.
Yeah. Some fun stuff with Despot in this one, though, where you're just like, oh god. And big, like, doomsday vibes for Desha.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was super I thought they were going to kill him. I thought they were going to kill him off.
Yeah, I think they might still, to be honest.
Yeah,
but...
I wouldn't be surprised, because it's usually the role of the teacher character to die at some point.
But yeah, and like most of it is about Daida. This is a really Daida-focused episode.
It was a strange turn for Daida, I would say. Him and Miranjo. I'm not sure how I wasn't against it, but I was like, really?
Miranjo.
How much older is Miranjo than you? She's quite a bit older.
She's at least twice his age.
At least. She might have the body of someone closer to his age.
Older because she's been in the... Well, I suppose she's younger physically now.
Yeah, she's more like...
But she'd
his
still
age,
be older, because she
physically,
was fully grown when he was born.
Yes.
She was a woman. She was a woman-ass woman. Because she would have been in her early 20s, and he's like...
I would have said so,
12, 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an interesting turn in a way, because obviously it's highlighting that what happened to Daida had left a lasting impression on him, which obviously we all expected.
Yes.
But it was kind of like, I would have, because like his main interactions with Miranjo were as the memories his father showed him, which made him hate his father.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, because I liked how it's like, yeah, Boss isn't a monster, but partly because Boss went down a bad road. Yeah,
a road that Miranjo showed him, which I thought was interesting.
And he didn't have to go down, though.
But he certainly chose to.
And
it seems like he regretted as soon as Boji was born. He looked and went, oh, fuck.
Yeah, but, regrets are great but he still made choices.
Yes.
And, other people paid for them.
I think that was good, though, that we got to see him regret his decisions and kind of look at his son and go, oh, fuck, I messed up really bad and I can't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. I have to make the kingdom as good as possible for him because I fucked up so bad.
But yeah, it's just like we didn't really see... Like, Daida was interacting primarily with the really young form of Miranjo.
Yes.
So I would have liked to have seen, if you were going to go down this route, him, like, as what was going on in the world, she started aging up and did more interaction with him. Because remember, she was basically just sort of sitting on his lap.
Yeah, unconscious for a long time, which I thought was interesting. You really helped me get through that. I was just asleep.
I was staring at I didn't have a face.
No, I didn't have a face. I had my silly mask on.
Yay!
Yeah.
I don't have hands.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty, so it's like I can understand why you want to go for it.
But like,
okay, I guess.
Just you've seen what she does when she loves someone. I'd be a little cautious about a sudden proposal.
Yes, I would be as well. Like, the yandere syndrome could easily kick in for her. It's like, oh, I love you now, Daida. I'll kill Boji for you, Daida. It's like, whoa, what did
you want me to kill your mom? She keeps telling me how to cook for you. I think I know how to cook for you. Do you want me to kill your mom?
I really liked it when Healing broke down.
I broke... no,
that was
Healing
hard.
cried.
That was hard to watch. Because she was trying so hard not to break down. She was still trying to be the strong mother figure. She's like, no, I want to hug my children. They're still my babies.
And she was very mad at Daida. She was like, I'm too old to hug. Shut up!
Yes, no, I'm going to hug you.
And then she went for Boji.
Yep.
You got a problem, boy?
No, I'll have a hug.
I'll have a hug. And then she flashes back to when they were kids, and
yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
I thought Hilling's one of the best characters.
Oh, I love Hilling. She's
Hilling. Great.
She's probably my favorite. But yeah, like it's a weird thing. Again, it's one of those episodes for this show was relatively weak, but it's for this show. For this show.
It's. I don't know if it was weak. It's kind of a roundup conclusion, and it felt like we're edging towards finding out that Desha did the worst thing he could. I think that's what we're going down to, because he's accepted the ranking of number 1 king. He gets to go to the sacred treasury, and the ranking dude is like, you decided to do a very selfish thing, not something that you should have done. Most people, most of the time, this is much better for people who do something selfless for the people.
He was really unsubtle in sort of his going like, mistake!
Yeah,
but I want you to do it anyway. No. But mistake!
Yeah. And it's weird because, like, in a way, yes, he is doing something selfish, but saving your brother from being an immortal monster killer
stuck in a rock.
I think that's not like I want riches, I want power. That's I want to save my brother. I mean, he's not wrong. It is selfish because maybe the thing probably should be there to help the people. You could argue that Oaken is one of his people. And
is a problem.
Massive
for
problem.
For the people.
Yes, not just for his kingdom, but for most of the world. Like, there seem to be very few people who can contain him.
Yeah. Again, putting him inside a rock.
Yes. So yes, it is selfish, but at the same time, I wouldn't lean on the guy for being selfish.
I suppose it's like if you want to look, why is he making the choice? He's making the choice because it's his brother. He's not making the choice for the good of anyone but
probably
his family and everything else. Like, and it
maybe you could argue for his conscience as well.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Like, it's not necessarily saying like, he's making a selfish or a selfless choice. It's that he's making a choice irrespective of whether it's the right choice.
Yeah.
And also like the second he made it, and the ranker's response is just like, it's just like, I would sit back down and say I changed my mind.
Yeah, same. I'd be like, I want to save my brother, but this sounds like it's not good, especially since we got the few words in previous episodes where they're like, most people go fucking crazy when they get the royal treasury. It's like, why does anyone want this thing then? Sounds terrible.
Well, that's a question I'm hoping is answered. Like, what actually is it? But it's also like, we may have seen what happened to the last person who picked it.
The Wild King dude. Yeah, that's a good point.
With the weird reveal that all animals are born from a giant sky monster.
Yeah, we've never really touched back on that, have we? Yeah.
Just so you know.
All the dead souls are sucked up by it, and then they're kind of re-pooped back out as living animals, which is bizarre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, that's all you can say when you see that, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
I like how Boji was kind of like, okay, I have to dance, okay.
He got the dance down fast, though, to be fair.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the guy was threatening to eat him.
Yes, and we know what he did to his son, and his son's wife, and his son's child, and his son's kingdom. So it's like, it's just as well Boji capitulated and did that.
Boji out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, still a great episode. It's just like, with this show, I've stopped measuring it against other shows. I'm just measuring it against it itself.
Yeah, if you did measure it against other shows, it's just, it's still amazing. It's better than most of the stuff out there.
Was it any good? Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Just like, but, that's no fun. So, yeah. And yeah, it was Rider apart from that. Revice and a movie.
I watched both today. Well, not today. I watched the movie last night and I watched Revice today.
Yeah. Revice, we'll get that out of the way. It's the easiest one to talk about. It's basically tying into GIF now, and that's accelerating and building up to new form. Which in the teaser looked better with the special effects, but I still don't like it. So it's mostly about this, especially in the context of what we're going to talk about, this really did highlight for me that Icky's actor is in the perfectly competent range, and please don't ask him to do the whole playing different characters motif.
Yes, we've mentioned this quite a few weeks in a row now, but it's still
like I
still
said,
prevalent.
just what happened in the other writer thing this week really highlighted that for me.
Yes.
Because holy crap. But
We'll get to it, yeah.
He's a perfectly sound actor. It's just like he doesn't have the range.
He just can't do that.
And like I'm really I as someone who enjoys this story, I am enjoying where it's going. I like what they did with Gift this time. That was fucking terrifying. He's
just the floating coffin eating people.
Eating people while this smug git is sitting there like, have you been eaten? No, okay, now you're dead and a monster.
Yep.
Basically to still feed you to the coffin.
Yeah.
And like you're definitely getting the sense George feels he bit off more than he could chew.
A tad, yeah.
And we get a bit of Olteka's background, which isn't pleasant, but also I like doesn't really justify what he does.
No, but you can see why it molded him into the guy he is today. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He's still a dick, though. And
I liked like for what little we saw of him, I liked the character stuff with Vice. It's just like he's fucking terrified.
Yeah.
And this is just a small thing. I liked when it was like the save him. It was just like they were trying to talk to Vice half the time, not just Icky.
Yes.
Which is just a nice little touch of just like Vice has now just become his own character in everyone's mind as far as the story. He's not like people don't talk to Icky and Icky talks to Vice. Everyone interacts with Vice. Which is nice. It's just I really want this body possession thing to be done.
Same, because it's only happening with Icky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it would be more interesting to have Love
to
do it, because Love has no character. I love how her going berserk was just slowly ramming into a wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
No one talks about it, though.
Because it was when she was like, they're running at Olteka and just they literally just zoom in on her. What's she doing? Bumping off a tree.
Yep. Yeah, she's just going back and forwards into a tree.
But she sounds really angry. Just like,
okay.
Die, nature.
Love seems like a really, like, the least developed of the demons. Like, it's just there because it's cute, which is fine.
Yeah, no.
But I feel that we could do something with her. But every time most we've had is Jan using her as a trampoline.
Yeah. It would be nice if we got a bit more from her beyond the fact she's cute.
Yes.
And a bit snarky when she insults people occasionally when they're not paying attention. But something about the whole Vice possession thing, apart from Icky's performances, Vice is, because of the nature of it, because Vice frequently just plays off of what other people are saying, he's not in it as much now. Which means you've lost, your sort of secondary protagonist.
Yeah.
So I am hoping, like, after the new form, it's like, okay, and now, like, because we also haven't seen any of the other forms except Jack Revice for ages. So
yes,
I would
because none of the other forms are good, and they were there to sell a toy. That's what they were there for. Nothing else.
And it would just be like, cool, but can we at least get base Rex back? Because then we can have Icky and Vice fighting together, which is the whole premise of the show. And then you can still do your fusion forms. It's just like, and then they fuse. It's been done a million times.
Or at least do the fire and ice one at the very least.
Do that. I could do without the fire and ice one, to be honest. Just go straight to Revice.
That, just the ice one?
No, I'd say just go straight from like base Rex to Jack Revice, and then you're going to use the new one, so use that. Just use
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I thought you meant like if we didn't get the upgraded form, that would be the way that we'd go.
Oh yeah, but we are.
Excuse me.
So.
Yes, that's true.
And I am really hoping the final form is both of them separate, not fused.
Yeah, I like you. I hope we separate them soon.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm enjoying it and everything else. It's just this one little element, just like I get why it's here, and obviously narratively it's a big deal now. But can we sort of get past it, please? Yeah,
I'll say that this episode for me felt like it was a lot of setup. It was a lot of waiting around. We're waiting for Gifu to come out of his coffin. We're waiting for George because he had this upgrade when he made the Wings of Light upgrade. He had them at the same time, and he still hasn't given it to Icky yet. It's like you could have given it to him, but yet you haven't for story purposes. Because we got to focus on Holy Light for the moment, or Holy Wing, and now we can do this next form because we've had 2 episodes with it.
Yep.
Like, okay.
So listen, we get the reasoning, and this is that little bit of like, I sometimes feel like the writer and the marketing guy, they're like sitting across 100%. Each other in a table and just like
the bumping heads a lot.
Yeah. But no, I still enjoyed it. It was still fun. Olteka the prick, which I'm enjoying.
Did you see the trailer I sent you for
Yes, Vale.
Is that by the same writer?
No, that is by he's a prominent secondary writer for Rider. He does a lot of the spin-off stuff. He actually did O's.
It looks very good.
It looks cool.
Very
it looks
good,
like
very
good
dark.
Amazons.
Yeah.
I find the Veil suit kind of interesting because
I really like the Veil suit.
I think the Veil suit looks different because the idea is it's not made by George, and George is a lunatic.
Yeah.
But the fact he's got baggy pants, I love that. I don't know why, but I do.
Well, you never see that. It's not something you've ever seen before,
No.
And you don't often get the over-the-shoulder cloak either, for the most part.
Because
nice.
it's like Demons is like George's take on Veil. That's what that looks like to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Demons is one of the better looking suits as well. But Veil, I really like the suit. I really like the idea, like the premise. Sounds interesting, and as long as it's well written, it's directed by Sakamoto, so it'll be well directed. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see.
That sounds great. I do think the mom, maybe when Ikki first became a Kamen Rider, maybe should have mentioned something.
Yeah, hey, just so you know.
I realized the logic which was given in this episode, which was we wanted to keep our happiness. I think as soon as your son turns into Kamen Rider, you're like,
as soon as a monster tries to eat you that lives in your son, mention it to him like, oh, your dad could talk to you about this, maybe. He can't, but he would.
I was going to say, has he mentally regressed?
Yeah, they said his memory got wiped from the fire.
Yeah, that's what I think. So at the very least, she could talk to him about it.
Like,
she worked on the project.
Every boy at a certain age
gets a demon who wants to eat them.
Yeah. Well, don't we all?
Yes. Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Veil coming out. It looks like it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, starts on the 27th, I think.
How many episodes is it? It's going to be like 3 or 4 episodes.
3 or 4 episodes, I think. Yeah.
Okay. My concern is from the trailer that it might be too long because it doesn't look like there's a lot to bite into technically.
Yeah. Like maybe you could do stuff like how he became Veil, like actually see it. How he met Veil, like Veil the demon.
It's just based off what we see in the trailer. That's my mild concern. Like, is there enough story here? Potentially there is, but from what I saw in the trailer, maybe not either.
I swear, like I didn't stop and zoom through it or anything else, but I swear I saw Vice in that trailer.
Oh, I can't remember. You might be right.
I've had a suspicion since we got a bit of backstory, like Vice is implanted.
Right.
I have a feeling Vice might be an implanted demon. He may not necessarily have been generated by Ikki.
Oh, okay.
But
while Lovu and Kagero are generated.
Yeah, because they're a bit more directly relating to those emotions, whereas Vice is related to the emotions, but he's also a bit of his own thing.
Yeah.
But who knows? But yeah, and apart from that, like the big thing this week was Kamen Rider OOO's 10th anniversary Core Metal Resurrection. Which is the 10th anniversary movie for Kamen Rider OOO, my all-time favorite Kamen Rider and one of my all-time favorite television shows. How spoilery do you want to go on this? Because we've got plenty of time.
I don't mind. We can go all in if you like. I've seen it, so if you haven't, that's the concern. The person listening to the show.
So I'm gonna say I'm going to go for it. Because I think it's worth.
Should we try and go not spoilery for a bit and then go into spoilers?
Yeah, so we'll say when we're switching to big spoilers. So basic premise is Ankh gets revived. Spoilers for the movie, by the way, not for the show. Like it's been a decade. But Ankh gets revived. The world's kind of gone to shit, and it's about him reuniting with the gang, figuring out a few mysteries, and taking down the enemy Ancient O's. And there's a few other surprises in there as well. So non-spoilery thoughts. It took a while for this to settle for me.
Okay.
It's not written by Kobayashi, which I think is kind of obvious.
The main writer of the original show, you mean? So
she's the main writer of the original show. She wrote Den-O, she wrote Ryuki. She's pretty prominent. It is written by one of the prominent secondary writers of the show. He's also worked on a lot of other shows. He's kind of he works in the just Toei stable. I would say what pulls this movie down are the Kamen Rider movie elements. So a villain with little or no explanation because the villain doesn't matter. which is a real old Kamen Rider film trope.
Oh, it's so bad.
And this time they're kind of like, listen, he's here, great, bye. That also ties into stuff with the Greed, who could have been in it a lot more. I think it's too short as well. I needed about an extra half an hour, I'd say. And it suffers from the movie anniversary feeling, which happens in Rider and Sentai, that they have a budget, but it's not an enormous budget, and their approach is to reuse a lot of suits. And some of the problems is some of the suits they're reusing are stunt suits or suits that have been in storage for 10 years, and they show it. The Ancient O's base suit, especially, is torn in so many places. As far as I know, it's a stunt suit and it's that but the difference is now they have it on long holding shots, so you can see tears in it and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a shame. It makes sense. It's 10 years old, so.
Oh yeah, and like, listen, I'm not gonna fault him for that, but one of the things is their aesthetic for this one, because they're tied into using reuse suits, is a little off. It's probably most obvious with a spoiler character, his form. Just because he's just kind of compounding some other issues, and his whole suit is made out of reused parts. Some surprising ones, actually, but Birth X is in it, but again, he's one of the Kamen Rider elements.
Is that from a previous movie?
It was introduced in a Netflix film that came out a week before the movie released.
Oh, okay.
Also, this movie came out in the cinema a week ago, but select people got Blu-rays, which is how we have got it. Don't ask me why that's the way they're releasing it.
I like it. Select people got it, because that just means like, oh, who put these out on TV? Who put these out on the internet? Well,
Gary,
not many people.
Japanese Gary.
Come on, bruh.
So though, like, Birth X isn't in it very much, and that is again a toy. We're doing a CSM toy. We wanted to put this in.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I really like the core stuff. Mm-hmm. I thought it was an interesting, like, Asian is in this a lot less than you expect. Mm-hmm. But it's still quite compelling, the story. The new character I can't say anything about until spoilers. A lot better than I was expecting. Mm-hmm. I liked him a lot more. Ankh is the main character of this story. It is his story, and he does a stellar performance. Every actor coming back knocks it out of the fucking park. Yeah. Every single one it's like they haven't left. Like, the Greed actors are barely in it, and they still feel like they did back then. None of them seem to have aged, except they look a bit younger.
I think some of them look a bit more angular, like around their cheeks and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, like Kogami is the one that shocked me.
Yeah, he still looks the same. He didn't change at all. So what the fuck?
Also, he should. I know he's just an exposition machine in this, but it also, like, it's Kogami. I don't care.
That's fine. Yeah,
that's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine.
What's going on? I'm going to pop into reality. Oh! I loved Aang's reaction to seeing him, just like amused. Hey, I hate you.
It's this asshole again.
Yeah. The finale is the most controversial thing about the film at the moment.
I can see that.
I like it.
Okay.
It works for the character for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it all ties into some background stuff I found out afterwards.
Okay.
But we'll talk about it in a second. But it took a while to decide if I did, because it is not what I was expecting for the film.
Right.
But for me, the way this character narrative plays out, I think it works. Also, there's a lot of, like, flashbacks and callbacks and stuff like that, like, especially towards the end of the film. And I really like Tajidor Eternity. I think it's a nice design. And I think it's got the only brand new, like, completely brand new part, I think, which is it and Birth X. Their helmets are completely new. And I really like, and the concept, I think, is really cool as well. It's kind of evolution of an existing one. Anyway, so before we get on spoilers, that's my thoughts. What about you?
Right. Okay, we'll start off with the positive. I think it's better than most of the Kamen Rider films I watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's great.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really easy to point out, the choreography is pretty bad for the fight scenes.
There's one... There's the Puto-Tira bit and there's the Tajador bit. There's two good shots in that, and the rest of it's kind of standard. And from what I can see, the director...
I'd say below standard, especially going from that on Saturday evening to watching Revice today.
Yeah, Revice
there's a massive difference in the choreography, and the choreography is really way well directed. Better. It is. It's a lot better.
I've loved the direction of Revice since the beginning. Actually, I think it's been great.
Yeah. It's just sometimes you don't notice it until you jump over to something else Kamen Rider related. Yeah. Especially when it comes out in a similar time, and then you just see what the difference is between them, and you're like, wow, okay, this is a massive step down compared to Revice. And I think that was very noticeable. There are a lot of long held shots sometimes in fights, and it just looks like stuntmen doing a very simple stunt performance. I'm sure it's obviously a lot harder than that, but it does not come across good.
The director, he was a fairly prominent secondary director.
Okay.
Now he was major director in O's, but I love O's to death.
Yeah, no, O's is cool.
Does not have the best fight direction of any Rider show. It does suffer from that. They made up for it by focusing on superpower elements rather than hand to hand, but
yeah.
It's
10 years old as well, so
yeah. But yeah, he's done a lot of movies. He's done a lot of movies, and the movies do have a problem with direction in general. So I think it's fair to say he's not necessarily the number one guy for direction. Oh God, he directed Gamera the Brave.
Yay! No. Oh, the really good fourth one that came after the three great films. It was like
Toto!
The even better one. Yeah,
he directed Toto. Anyway,
Jesus.
Nothing. Anyway, you were saying.
I would also say I didn't feel that this adds anything to any of the characters.
Yeah, that's fair too.
It doesn't add anything. I think it's a worse end. If you wanted to go from O's to this and use this as your end cap for the series, I think this is a worse place to finish the series, as it adds more questions. Then obviously the series ends with, will AG fix Ankh? And that's kind of a nice little thing of, oh, maybe he will, maybe he won't. It's one of those things that's kind of left up in the air. Without getting into too many spoilers, there's a big thing, the controversial thing that you mentioned at the end. There's also the world being in utter shambles. There's a line that says that there's only a very small pocket of humanity left, so humanity's dead.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out if that was a translation thing. It was supposed to be in Japan or worldwide, but it's agreed, so worldwide is a very real possibility.
That's the problem. But Kogami suggests that the alchemist did it to the world, kind of, because he made the world his kingdom or something like that. So there's that. So that kind of messes up the world, and it's like you can't recover from that if that's true. If it's just Japan, well, the Japanese are fucked. They're a dead race at that point, right? So that's not good in itself, because Kamen Rider is a Japanese show. You can't have the nation that the people come from, where it's like, sorry guys, the world's okay, but your nation, you're all dead. Yeah. Goodbye to your race. That's a bit rough.
Gaim technically did the opposite. We've killed a bunch of people.
Yes, it did. It killed a lot of foreigners.
A lot of Americans are America's dead.
Yeah, it's pretty much well, so there's that. I don't think it ends the series in a desperately satisfying manner, and it adds too many questions. I thought the acting from all the actors was just great. Ankh's actor, damn, the problem was I hadn't watched O's recently, so the emotional bits between Ankh and Eiji didn't really do anything for me. So I was focusing on what the story was doing, and I didn't think it did anything desperately good. Whereas
I rewatched it recently, I was just like, oh god. Oh
yeah,
God.
No, I and you've said it's one of your favorite shows, so you're definitely super heavily invested. I'm watching this from a good few years without watching O's.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot more disconnected from that, and I'm just kind of looking at it less emotionally. And I don't think it was great. I could easily skip this, but it is better than a lot of the movies I see where I'm like, this is just garbage. There are good elements to this, but overall, I don't think it holds up desperately well. Also, there's no explanation of how the alchemist comes back. It's just, he came back. It's like, okay. They kind of wave that away very quickly. I know you mentioned that they just kind of, they don't give any backstory to the villain, but when the villain ends the entire world, or just Japan, who knows, probably give him a bit more, like, how did he come back? How did he get the greed medals? And how did he revive them as well?
More context for people who haven't thought about this show in 10 years.
Yes, yeah, I think they could have done a little bit more with that. I think maybe a better way, instead of getting Mazul and those guys, maybe getting the movie villains and using their core medals or something like that. I will say that the new the suits that we got, the three villain suits. The first villain suit is the Alchemist. I'm not going to spoil it, don't worry. First suit is the Alchemist, and it's just Tajidorb slightly different with a cape. Meh.
I like the color of the helmet. That's but apart from that, cool.
Yeah, the color of the helmet and the cracks on it, I thought were quite nice. I was like, okay, that's fine. But the rest of it's just slightly discolored Tajidor. The next form up, which is when he absorbs everybody, is just what's it?
Well, it's Tamashii mixed with...
That's it, Tamashii.
Mixed with the other base forms.
It's Tamashii, so it's shit.
Yeah.
It just looks shit. It's got a bit more interesting colour on it. And then the final form is just Tamashii with a few changes to the legs and to the head, and it still looks shit. Is my opinion. So the villain suits are shit. The Birth X, messy.
Yeah.
And I had no context for it, so it's just, what the fuck is this? Why didn't you use this before when you were fighting the greed? Might have helped Goto-chan, even though it's Broto, which I didn't like that for the subs.
It's overtime. That overtime started that 10 years ago, and it's very fitting.
Yeah, I didn't like
they're
it.
doing that. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now, because we're all adults.
It's Goto-chan.
We can hear what he's saying.
He says Goto-chan. We understand. Broto-chan. Broto is maybe a translated English version, Romanized version of it, but no, it's Goto-chan. Come on now.
Because we don't. Our language works differently. For God's sake. Also, no one would ever say Broto.
No,
ever.
Well, some bad people might. Bad people might. But yeah, generally that would. If I was going to force a rating on it, I'd probably give it like maybe a 4 or a 5. Probably more of a 5, because it's just like meh. Bad elements, not necessary, but could have been a lot worse. So it's just if I was going to be kinder to the acting, and the acting would potentially bring it up, apart from the story elements, which is more I'm focusing. Acting wise, the acting is like 10. The acting is great. I liked seeing all the guys again like that. That was about it.
I would say film 6 acting would elevate the entire experience to an 8. But I would say the film is a 6 at its best. And it's just it has moments that elevate it to a 6. But I do think the quality, just how easily everyone gets back in their roles, the dynamics between the actors, the skill of the actors, because man, do they show how good they are.
I wish that this movie was better written, so it had.
I wish he'd come back.
Could have been.
I wish he'd come back and written it.
Yeah, because it does feel like it's unnecessary. It does feel unnecessary. Should we get on to the spoiler talk?
Yeah. So spoiler-wise, Ankh gets revived, has no idea what the fuck is going on, possesses Shingo again to save him, which I thought was kind of funny, and at the end of just okay, they show what's going, okay, Ankh's gonna take the core medals and get his body back, because we see, I didn't expect to see the Ankh greed, but we do, so okay.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah, well, I love that design. That design is fantastic. But I was also what if he just said nah, nah, I'm good, and Eishi's gone, so I'm good. Bye. He just been lovely to see you all. Bye. But no, Ankh comes back. Eiji is missing, and when they do find him, he's acting weird. And it turns out because Eishi's dead, and a new greed is possessing his body called Goda, who basically wants to be Eiji, which is why he wants to fight with everyone.
You'll need to remind me, because this confused me. Wasn't Eiji at the end of O's agreed?
Maybe. It was one of those things from what I did some background reading. Kobayashi intended it to be ambiguous.
Ah, okay. I took
She
it
said,
as
like,
he was.
I always read it as he was.
Yeah.
Right? And she
Because it
basically
just
went
makes
like,
sense.
well, because like we never see him go back. You know?
Yeah.
We see him lose his cores, but he wasn't, you know, we don't see his, like, saying like, Asia, you're human again. So it was always like ambiguous, and it was purposely that way. Just like, listen, for me as a writer, like, I see him this way, but a lot of people, we're not putting it in the show because, like, whatever. Later writers, because Toei, and they ignored it. They just said like, cool, he's back to normal.
Yeah, but it's better to, I would have thought, keep him as a great, like Blade. Yeah.
But, you know, they also, like, ended Fies by saying he's going to be dead in a couple of years, and then he came
I don't
back.
remember. All I remember about Fies is what a disappointing show.
Still one of the most popular in Japan, God help us.
Really?
But,
I mean, the Orphanox were a great design, but...
They showed up in Revice, in the mystery, actually. So Eiji is basically murdered by the original O's, who comes out of literally fucking nowhere with no context on how he revived. The thing is, like, it's bad enough it's like how he revived and how the Greed revived, but like the whole point is like Eiji had to pull some big ass fucking shit to revive Ankh.
Yeah.
And like this guy went, I revived 4.
to be fair as well, the way that Eiji revives Ankh is, to me, fucking ambiguous, and it's not explained.
It makes a lot of sense to me, but it also, because I am very aware of a lot of the like, it makes sense. It's the implication is you have to have a big desire and you have to give life energy to it.
So because he was dying, he was able to do it.
And I just read like Eiji probably has the most desire of anyone alive.
Sure.
And Ankh is literally made of the stuff. So it makes sense how it would, but it is one of the things like, I know you're writing it for adults now, but do include some actual, like, plot progression?
I think, again, it's just like, you needed to write something a little bit more clear. You can still have it subtle, just make it more clear.
I think if they had that half an hour, they would have felt a bit freer to add that in, but I also think it's the writer as well. He's just like...
I think so.
From what I could see of his work, when he is on someone's writing team where there's a head writer... where they're overseeing him, he's good because he wrote some of the really good episodes of O's. Yeah. And he wrote and other shows, but when he writes his own thing, when he's in complete control, it's not so good.
So he's better as a support writer. That's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. That's a fantastic talent to have. But like, it's one of those, like, throughout the movie, I was just like, man, just for the plot moments and everything else, I wish she'd come back.
Definitely. Yeah.
But. Eiji's dead, basically, and Goda is there, and Goda is one of the things I'm surprised I like, because I think, I'll talk about it in a second, just run down a plot now, but, and they end up in a big fight against Ancient O's, and they beat him somehow with Putotira, which came out of fucking nowhere.
I was happy to see it, but yeah.
I thought it was a cool scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do like the idea, like, I have all the power in the world, dinosaurs. Shit!
and the Putotira suit still looks really good after 10 years. It's still a great design. Great design,
and I love they finally gave that bloody absorb all the cell metals attack a finisher. Like, he actually finished it, and like, it was cool. So, lovely seeing Putotira again. Goda, being agreed, kind of goes like, hey, she wants me to kill all of you. And absorbs all the powers. He then spits out Eiji because Eiji is just alive enough to try and stop him. Ankh possesses Eiji. They transform into Tajidor Eternity. They beat Goda, and then Eiji literally shoves Ankh out of his body and says, like, dying now, and dies.
Which is weird because I would have thought like Ankh would take over his body, so Shingo could be alive.
Yeah, but that's why I said, like, you could say, like, well, Ankh's just going to go get his core medals and be himself again, but it's not like, he could just wander off now. Because it's Ankh.
The reason why I thought he might just claim Eiji's body is so that he could still, in some ways, have Eiji around.
Yeah, but I suppose, like, they just wanted the death scene, and it's like, Eiji accepts death, and, like, it'd be a different thing of just like, well, he's literally dead now.
I wonder if it's a thing where the actor's just like, I'm done. I don't need to do anymore.
It was a part of it. Like, he said, like, that makes sense. I wanted to come back for one last thing, and he apparently had a lot of contributions to Eiji's side of the story.
Okay.
And, like, I would say, like, the overall story beats for Ankh, Eiji, and Goda are really good. I do like them. It's just some of the writing in there. Like Goda comes out of fucking nowhere, just like Ancient O's. Like, how the fuck did he? How the fuck did he get in him? Because like the only thing I can think of, which is pretty probable, is Kogami was standing nearby and said, "You dead? You're dead. I'm gonna just drop these
Kogami
into you."
pointing Eiji's dead corpse with a stick. All right, put him in, boys.
But the thing is, very believable.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, sorry, it would be Sakura doing it. It wouldn't be Kogami.
Yeah, because but she'd have the laptop.
She would, yeah,
carrying it around. But yeah, so basic plot is like very writer, I think, which hurts it. Which, again, I think is a factor of the guy who's writing it. It's just like the like I thought, whether it was the writing or whatever, making Ankh the protagonist was a really good idea. Because it is an hour of Ankh being furious. He is mad at everyone who isn't Hina.
Yeah.
Because he's just woken up. Everything, like, Kogami's telling him the thing, and he's kind of like, yeah. Where the fuck is he? What the fuck is going on? He hates Goda.
Yeah.
I love that bit, like, don't say my name or else I'll kill ya. But like this is where I'm just like the actors are phenomenal. Shu Watanabe and Ryosuke Miura, I think his name is, who play Eiji and Ankh. They're amazing. Like Eiji's Watanabe doesn't, he didn't do the whole body switch thing when he was doing it. He successfully plays Eiji for the brief period we have Eiji, and he successfully plays Goda pretending to be Eiji. He successfully plays Goda, and he successfully plays Ankh.
Yeah, it's just like, man, this guy gets how to do it, especially compared to, again, sorry to pop on him, Revice actor, who can just, he's fine as him, but he can't do Vice.
No.
And Eiji's just like, oh yeah, I can do 3 dudes. And you're like, oh. Yeah.
But like, okay. I loved when he switched between the Eiji persona and Goda. Like, it was so seamless. And the body language changed, the delivery changed, the tone of voice, everything.
And it didn't feel overacted either. It wasn't, which you can, I think you could easily do if you're like, oh, you're possessed by a greed. So it's like, oh, I'm evil? Yes, okay. And you start just like swinging your arms around and you become all super loosey-goosey and it's too much. I think that's too easy to do. And I don't think that's what this actor did, thankfully.
Nope. I thought he's like, oh my, this guy's been like very good at his job.
Yeah, he's a well-renowned actor in Japan for a reason. Yeah,
and like again, like when he's doing Ankh, it's like, wow, it is like it's Ankh.
Yeah,
like, and that's not just a voice; it was like the actual performance, and that's not an easy thing to do.
He does the eyes, he does the Ankh eyes stare quite a few times.
He even gets the arm movement right, and that's not easy to do. Like because he's got very particular arm motions. I don't know what to say about Ankh. Like, he doesn't do the dual personality in this one. He's just doing Ankh, but
I mean, that's what you want.
That is what I wanted, because he is so good at it. Like, and it's like, I love how sometimes when you bring back a character like Ankh, it's write him as a good guy. Write him as a nice person. Oh, he's reformed. It's like, it doesn't matter what side he's on, he's still Ankh.
Yeah.
And he's still an asshole.
Yes, but he is obviously grown.
Yeah, like,
which is
I'm not afraid, none of us were afraid he's going to go like, okay, now I'm going to eat everyone.
Yeah.
He's
not like when Hina's holding his hand, he's not like, ugh, bitch, don't fucking touch me. He's like, oh, I guess this is okay.
But he's kind of like, not now.
Yeah, he's like, maybe a bit tsundere, you could argue. You could argue that.
But he's got such a nice interaction with Hina later on.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And it's like, in a very Ankh way, just like, listen, I nearly killed your brother and you didn't give up. Why are you giving up now?
Yeah, it's like, that's fair.
And like, you've got him like quoting lines from Eiji and everything else. And then you have the last scene of this mirroring the last scene of O's, or the last fight of O's rather, where it's, Ankh's taking on now the hero role and Ankh becomes the new O's. I thought he did a really good job. And like their chemistry is so good together.
Yeah.
Like the on-screen chemistry. There was just this wonderful moment where Goda's walking by and he's like, oh, we can work together. He pats Ankh on the shoulder and then he walks off. I feel like this is probably improvised just from the way it was timed, but he does such a great like, don't you fucking touch me face.
Yeah.
Where he looks at his shoulder and he looks back at him and he's just like, I'm gonna rip your head off.
I thought this is like if someone touched Mikey and Mikey doesn't like them. No,
Yeah.
I did like. I really like the part where you have the final moments between AG being alive and Ankh, and I was like, wow, they went to town on those eye drips for these boys, especially on Ankh. Especially on Ankh. It's like someone turned a tap on
Ankh was ugly crying. Ankh was anime crying.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good. I was like, damn, it's well done. And I also thought at the time, man, I think Mikey's fucked.
I was like, oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no!
Especially with Aang crying, I was like, I think that would be the thing that set you off.
And it was a single tear on AG as you were saying.
Oh,
like,
is
I'm
that?
happy.
Okay.
I'm happy.
No, I get
Like-
to die. It's good. It's like, that's not good, AG. Don't be weird.
I get like in character, like I like I said, like both actors had like input in how the characters are written, which I think is why they were so much like the characters were so correct.
Yeah,
It's because, like,
100% right. Yeah,
The two of them would have gone like Ankh wouldn't say that, but like Ankh's confronted with why AG died, and like he's been in denial. He's actually been in denial the whole movie that AG's lost.
Yeah. He's oddly enough, he's very much like AG. I can save him. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't save. Like humans, not quite as durable as greed.
Yeah, he doesn't come back if we like wish hard enough.
No,
But there was just this like I love the fact that after he's made to realize, after he possesses him, it's not like, oh no, he screams at him that he's a moron, because that's what Ankh would do. And the last line is just like, it still worked out for me, and I'm glad I made it. Like, very good mirroring of some good stuff. The births were also good, like for what they're like. I did like the bit where just like you don't like working with greed, huh? No, we're good with that. It's you in particular we're worried about.
Yeah, you're an asshole. Fuck you.
Yeah, that. I wish the response was, yeah, but he's an asshole. Yeah, but he's our asshole.
Yeah, that's my asshole.
All the actors were great. Like, seriously, it was like they just walked out of the set from 10 years ago.
Yeah,
but
that's obviously the most positive thing. We're saying a lot of positive things, and it is all due to the actors hitting their characters.
Yeah.
All
like
due
even
to them.
Satanaka, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And she never had much personality in the first place.
No.
But like you said, like for me, it's the writer trappings of it that work against it, which is we have an hour to do a story, we have to have these villains, we have to have toy advertisements, and we don't have time to develop most of it.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons I don't like writer movies in general. But like, if you compare it to the last time we had these guys in, which was Heisei Generation's final, in terms of writing, because that was written by the build writer, that was a better written movie considerably.
That's true. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it had a really effective use of Eiji and Ankh, and it had a really good little sub-story for Eiji in it.
Yeah.
Also, like, just I don't mind that Eiji died.
No.
I would have liked it if he didn't, obviously. And like the first thing I thought was this, like, okay, so Ankh did survive this. We were wrong.
Yeah, I'm not against AG dying because the concept of it kind of works for him as a hero, but I don't like the concept of Ankh being alive, and I'll explain why, because that sounds a bit weird. Because Ankh is, like, I think his character journey was perfectly ended with him dying. I think it was the perfect end for him, and I don't think there's any reason to bring him back apart from corporate reasons. Yeah, and I think the actual end of the movie is hilarious.
And they're just staring into the middle distance.
Yeah, it's that. It's literally they show Rubble. They show Rubble with like Stick and his underpants on, and he's like, "Yep, that's his gravesite. That's fine." And then the next shot is like Hina and Ankh quite a distance apart, just staring. And I'm like, "Okay, epilogue." And then the credits roll. I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna get something right at the end of the credits," and nothing else. Like, what? That's how they ended, with them just staring off screen for like 30 seconds. That's how we're gonna end. That is such a bad end.
Yeah, it was
bad.
because it's mirroring the end of O's where they did that, except they followed that with a 5-minute epilogue.
That's the thing, yeah. It didn't just finish there. Like, it wasn't stunted. It's like, no, we're done. It's like, no. They even had a credit sequence where they could have done something.
Yeah, and they just played the O's ending.
It's great. It's a great like intro.
That is
like,
something.
yeah, do something if you don't have the time. You need
This
it.
is something else. Like, I feel like I get why. Like, we're doing an adult story now. It's mature, but even in the tail end of O's where it was fucking dire,
yes,
they still had some fun.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of fun in this. Now, again, I get the idea, like, post-apocalyptic, blah, 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 but it would have been nice to have, like, when she's squeezing Ank's hand, it's, like, he starts going, ow, or something like that. Just like, ow, 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 let go. Yeah, it's, I like I said, like, overall, like, 10 acting, probably, like, as you say, a 4 or 5 in a story, and for me, that averages out to a 6.
That's fair, yeah, that's fair.
I don't feel my time was wasted by watching it, but I also don't think, like, now I feel like the story's done.
It hasn't changed my opinion on movies, let's just say that.
No,
the
exactly.
Kamen Rider movies.
It has done something kind of interesting. It's changed my opinion on Megamax.
Which one was Megamax? Was Megamax the one you hated?
Yeah, the O's Forze one. Like,
okay.
Not changed my opinion on whether it was good or not. I still don't like it.
I was going to say.
But, because that is a story about, Eiji meets Ankh who's traveled back in time. Well, if you want to play it, because, like, also this kind of very quietly, pointedly ignores the fact that anything else has happened. So if you just wanted to say none of the crossover stuff happened, you can do that, and that was on purpose, clearly.
Yeah, it felt like it. I guess it had to be, because it was a 10-year anniversary, so that makes sense.
But just like, if you want to take it all as canon, it's just like, that adds a very different tone to Ankh coming back, and that last scene of him looking at Eiji and Hina from the back and smiling before he disappears.
That's true, yeah.
Because, like, hey, Eiji, oh god, I'm seeing my dead friend. Ankh, oh god, I'm seeing my dead friend.
Hina, I'm seeing my dead friends. Oh, no, for his. I get to see my friends who are alive again.
Everything's fine. Nothing bad's happening.
Nothing's bad, no.
But yeah, so... Yeah, but, like, I really do like Tajidor Eternity. I really do like it.
I think it's a lot better. I think it's a lot better than Tajidor. I think it's the best movie form that you could have given. I think it's
one of the best movie forms we've ever had, to be honest. Because most movie forms are kind of shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the movie ones are really bad. This is a great idea. It's how about we make Tajidor more into Ankh, and it's like, yep, sure, great idea.
Yeah. And I suspect that they didn't make a new suit. That's literally the standard Tajidor suit they repainted.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Which also means I suspect you'll never see Tajidor again. Now, that's a thing. I saw some people going like, wow, it's going to be weird never having Tatuba or, O's again in any crossover film. And just like...
Oh, you could have Ankh slap those medals in it.
Yeah, like...
They don't care.
What you'll get is the same thing you get, like, hey, you know how you see Black and RX all the time together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'll just see the O suit. What I would like is just, like, anytime they do, like, a group thing and it's a final form thing, use Eternity now, because now it's like, you can, like, in your head, it's not Eiji in the suit, it's Ankh.
Yeah.
Ankh's Tatuba now, Ankh, whatever. And it's like, oh, only Eiji could use the belt. He's a fucking greed. He's a monster. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you say, oh, you couldn't do that. It's like, hey, Godo was able to use the fucking belt, so...
Yeah. I mean, also, if you want to play that card, the idea of Ankh getting his body back and not possessing Shingo should be terrifying.
Yeah.
Because they never go like, by the way, I brought you back with the caveat of you having emotions and being able to feel satisfaction again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless of what you're doing. It's just like, no, they just say I brought you back. And I'm just like, really hope they fix that particular fault.
Man, if only they'd covered that in the story.
Just like, so Ankh, how do you feel? I need more. More.
Oh, no.
And everyone's like, oh, no.
Oh.
You're the writer now, too.
No.
Can I have my brother back? No.
He's mine. I need him.
Oh, can I just something else? The wig they gave him for Shingo in the few scenes of Shingo was bad. It was a bad wig.
It was funny. It was very funny.
Like he's never like I always loved that about the whole just it was a personal like giggle. It's just like it's never Shingo's hair has never been his hair. It's always been a wig because his hair has been long and blonde since before he was hired for O's.
I mean, the way I would describe Shingo's wig is a stereotypical Japanese person or character in anime. It's the weird bowl cut, and that's it. There's nothing flary about it. It doesn't look real. It never looks real. It just looks weird, right?
Yep. It looks like a man wearing a rug. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like that scene in Devil May Cry DMC where the mop falls and
oh yeah, it does. Yeah,
on dumbass's head.
Yeah.
What's the nickname people gave him? Nonte something.
I don't know.
Something that's a portmanteau of not actually Dante.
Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest. They weren't wrong though.
Dino, that's game. It. Dante and Namona.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. I wouldn't. It's one of the things I can't recommend it like as a watch for anyone who has no idea what's going on because one,
definitely not. No,
so tied into the story, but two, if you do not have the emotional investment in this series, this will be a lot worse than the scores we're giving it.
I still think the only Kamen Rider movie that you should watch if you haven't watched a Kamen Rider movie is ZO. That's the only one.
I'd say A to Z.
I think you get more out of it if you've seen Double.
I suppose I've never.
And with ZO, it's obviously it's a standalone.
Yeah, no, it is
nothing
absolutely
else.
Standalone. Don't watch Shin really unless you're.
Oh God, no.
I want to see the Guyver, but Kamen Rider cool. They've also that's something they revealed this week. The design for Kamen Rider Black Sun.
What the fuck is that? I saw that today. I was like,
It's either a movie or a series. I don't know if it's a movie or a series.
Don't stop it.
Basically.
Shadow Moon looks worse. You made him more organic. It's like, that's not the point.
Do you remember the first and the next?
I do.
Yeah,
they weren't very good either.
They weren't. The directors and the writer have never done Toku before.
Oh, well, that might be a good thing, or it might be a terrible thing.
Yeah. So I don't like how much the Shadow Moon suit is just the black sun suit, but with just extra spikes.
Well, they're brothers. It's like, yeah, I know.
But he's a cyborg. They're like, what? That's the idea. They're cyborgs. One representing the organic side, one representing the mechanical side. That's the whole. That's the design dichotomy. That's why when you first see Black, he's like a full grasshopper thing.
Yep.
Because like, you're the organic king. And the shadow of the real world is this mechanical monster with these awesome heels. I love Shadow Moon's heels.
I always just like Shadow Moon's design.
Shadow Moon is cool. Baller. Shadow Moon is fucking fantastic. And like, man, he's cool.
Yeah,
he's so cool. Decade fucked him up, but Decade fucked a lot of things up. No, that's my thoughts on it. Anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I've covered it for the most part. I didn't love it. When I said to you, do you think I'd like it? And I imagine you going, eh.
Yeah, no, that was it. I was saying like you'll definitely feel more negative about it than I do.
Yes, and I think that's probably true again, which is fine.
The internet is hilarious about it because the internet is either screaming it's the best movie ever made or it has ruined the Kamen Rider OOOs forever, and I'm just like,
it hasn't ruined Kamen Rider OOOs. Jesus
not even
Christ.
close.
Calm the fuck down. It's separate.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Have you never seen a Rider movie before?
I asked Jai because Jai came into my stream yesterday and he mentioned that people were just coming over it. Let's just saying how amazing it was without any critiques. And I was like, oh, okay. And it sounds like, they're just all in for the O's hype, which is fair enough. Yeah, I can understand how you can easily be drawn into hype. It happens to all of us.
The way I would describe this is a movie where I'll watch a few acting scenes a lot and will rarely, if ever, go back to the full movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. And I do want something of Tajidor Eternity. I don't know what, but Sodo or Figure Arts or anything else.
Oh, well, they'll definitely be doing this Sodo.
They've announced the Figure Art.
Oh, well, there's a shock as well. Yeah, there we go. Anything else, or has that been it, Mr. Mikey?
That was me, really.
Yeah, right. I think this is probably where we can end the show then, because believe it or not, we talked a lot about Kamen Rider. Who knew, right? Who knew? But yeah, there was no Transformers news, so don't blame us. We were just giving you some extra content.
We
so,
wanted
Mikey,
to not wait your time.
Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
You can find me on the internet as Irish Paleo on Twitter, and you can contact us on the Moonbase Studio on Twitter or on moonbase2@gmail.com or on Facebook or Libsyn and Patreon and anywhere else. We'll take it. And yeah, I didn't have any new comments this week. And to be honest, it's late enough and I'm tired. So yeah, Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as Decayed Andy, on YouTube as Decayed Andy. We're on Moonbase 2, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Libsyn, iTunes, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're on patreon.com/Moonbase2, and if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version from the Files of Teletran 2, and you also get the Moonbase OOO, which hopefully we should be able to record next week, depending on if Mikey's free.
It's, just
it's busy for Mikey at the moment.
Yeah.
Hammering you down for anything is rough at the moment because you have a busy life.
Save me.
Poor Mikey. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming on by. We'll be back next week with hopefully something to talk about, but that's not our fault. It's not our fault. We can talk about more Revice next week, I'm sure. That's easy enough. I don't mind. It's just I want to give the Transformer fans something because it's a Transformer show, but yeah, never mind. Until next week, everybody, thanks for coming on by, and we'll see everybody next time.